Hello everyone. A quick update on the Polycab wire and cables business update. So yesterday they have released their number, and today in fact yesterday itself they have done their con call. So good con call, good numbers. Touching on the numbers. So numbers from Q3 perspective, the revenue growth is 46% on consolidated basis, all product put together, and the EBITDA has grown by 34%, and the PAT is growing by 36%. Now, the first question as an investor or as an analyst which comes in our mind is, if revenue has grown by 46% and EBITDA has grown by only 34%, so is company not getting operating leverage? So yes, this time around they have not get the operating leverage. The key reasons are being, first is the commodity prices. So for them the biggest raw material is copper and the aluminum, which is being used in their basically all the things, while their biggest segment is cable and wire, where it is primarily being used. Now, just a data point over there, that if you look at the copper prices, that has actually risen by around 50% on YY basis, and in case of aluminum prices, it has increased by 25% on YY basis. And if you look at from the quarter on quarter perspective, the copper price has increased by 21% and the aluminum prices has increased by 11%. So in this context, analyst kept on asking, were you able to sort of pass on the raw material prices to the customers? So where the management kept on saying that yes, they tried their bit, they have done the price increase in a deferred way, and by this deferred way increase they managed to increase some price, but they couldn't able to pass on the full impact. So that's where the price took a beating, and that's where, in spite of volume being increasing, so it does not translate into the complete EBITDA. So that was first reason. Second reason for not getting the operating leverage is increased labor cost. So in this quarter, considering that new labor law has come in, so that's where again there is an impact around 1% almost in terms of the labor cost, which management has to take one of. And third bigger piece is obviously the manager was saying that this time around the distributor has done some kind of stocking. So that's where again, considering the higher the product where the price could not be fully factoring of raw material prices. So that's where also this impact has come. And fourth and last one is about the export sales. So this time the export sales was not as healthy as was the domestic, because just to give a sense, while overall sales has increased by 40 to 46%, domestic sales has increased by 59%. So that's where the export sales growth is relatively lower, and that was mainly on account of US impact, because US tariff increase. The management says that they have done well when it comes to the Middle East, Latin, and even Europe. But in case of when it comes to US, due to tariff increase, they couldn't able to get that kind of increase. So this was the primarily reason in terms of the not getting operating leverage, and there is a dilution in margin. While this remains one-off, and since the growth is so good that of this 46% increase, around 40% has come from the volume. So that's where, if this being sustainable, and that's what management kept on claiming, that this will be sustainable, then obviously it is going to be a very good story, because this margin dilution of around 2-3% will any which way will bounce off, because labor cost impact of around 1%, your export is skewed mix, and third is raw material not able to pass on. All these things will again come back in, we will not be there in the next quarter, so margin will again come to that level. So that's where it seems like a very healthy story. Below EBITDA to PAT, again the EBITDA growth was 34%, while PAT growth is 36%. So that's where the complete leverage has been received when it comes to depreciation and interest and all those line items. So there is a leverage over there, so nothing to worry about that. So and in terms of because major business segment of the company is cable and wire, and that's where the major growth will also come. So major contribution when it comes to the cable and wire, if we'll do the slicing, so wire contributes around 70% of the sales, and the cable contributes around 30% of the sales. And here the cable is basically a proxy play to the Indian entire the power sector, where the transmission and all those things being changed and being done. So if somebody wants to play a Indian power sector proxy play, it's a very good play. Company has other two segment as well, which is the your electronic goods segment, where this fan and those things come, electronic items come. That segment is not doing really well. There are headwinds, and this was again the summers were not very intense, so that's where the growth was not very great. The second piece there comes is around the solar. They are growing 100% in terms of YY, but considering the base is small, it is not making any meaningful impact. Company's aspiration is that they want to get into a 10% of the EBITDA margin in coming year in this particular thing. So that's where their ambition remains, and they have a project called Project Spring, where they are trying to find all the white spaces when it comes to any product, any geography, any segment, and that's where they are trying to leverage. Just a fascinating data wherein their domestic sales has increased by 59%. Industry, nobody has sort of declared results so far. So analysts kept on asking whether your market share will increase or not. So that pretty much clear that their market share will increase, because industry may not increase by as high as 59%. It may be increasing by 20-30%. So that's where their market share definitely should have increased meaningfully. The second biggest player in this segment is KEI cable, sorry, KEI cable. So that's where let's see how their numbers will come, because again the major competition remains in these two companies. So once that result will come, we'll able to see. But the major growth, when people ask, the major growth has come from the your power cable, your real estate, and all these segments. So that's where it is. This is all for now. Thank you so much.